Okay, I know what you're thinking, but you just did a DVD and Blu-ray video. Well, I actually recorded that one several months ago, so with this one, you're completely caught up. So the first thing that I'm going to show you actually isn't a DVD or Blu-ray, but it ties into a TV show that I already have on DVD, so I wanted to mention it anyway. I picked up all 7 omnibuses of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I enjoyed watching the show so much that I decided I wanted, to spend more time with these characters. So when I was at the Half Price Books that I get a lot of my stuff at, I was lucky enough to spot those and decided to pick them all up. And in case you're confused, no, these aren't the comics that continue the show. These are the comics that were produced during or just after the show, which I'm pretty sure are pretty much all non-canon, but I wanted to read them anyway. But this actually isn't all of them because there's a few Angel omnibuses out there and there's also a Spike omnibus. And even then, according to Wikipedia, yes, I know it's Wikipedia, but anyway, according to that even with all 11 of those, I'm thinking it totals up to, it isn't every single comic, but it's pretty close, so there you go. And even then, it's going to be a while before I get to these anyway, because I'm reading the Divergent trilogy. Now, first thing to show you, I enjoyed basically the companion show to this show so much I decided to check out this one because it was actually made prior to it, although I've unfortunately learned that like its companion show, it was actually cancelled during its run, but it actually got a lot more seasons, so I'm betting that I'm going to enjoy this, and I hope that when I get to the point where it was cancelled, that even though it seemed like it was able to wrap it all up, it does a better job. I got the first 3 seasons of Stargate SG1. And in case you're wondering, no, I don't think I'm going to keep it in this packaging because, it's one disc per keep case that takes up a lot of shelf space, and I've got a lot of empty DVD packs that can hold several discs laying around, so I'll just, switch them. But yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to enjoy that just as much as I enjoyed Atlantis, and there's a few instances where characters from that show crossed over to Atlantis, so that gives me some hope. I don't know anything about Stargate Universe, but it seems like most people out there don't like that one, so I'm going to stay away from that one. Now, this next one was a show that I watched a little bit when I was a kid. I only had access to like 10 or so episodes of it, but when I heard that this finally got a complete DVD release, I was like, that'd be nice to pick up eventually, because, I can check out episodes that I've never seen and then fully understand the episodes that I did see, but the problem was it was always selling for $40, and I was like, that's ridiculous, okay? I'm gonna wait for the price to go down. Well, luckily I was able to find an eBay seller selling it for half that, so I got the complete series of Magic School Bus. Yeah. And a kid in me just really wanted to see it, and yeah, I'm glad that I picked this up so I was able to check out all the ones that I didn't see, but this DVD set, is kind of cheap because, like, these fin packs, they bend, like, ridiculously easy. Like, every time I crack one open, I get nervous that I'm gonna break it. And also, you notice how those 8 discs here, so those 8 students in Miss Frizzle's class, so you'd think that they all get their own picture. No. Miss Frizzle gets her own disc, which means Dorothy Ann doesn't get hers, which I think is kind of dumb because Miss Frizzle's on the back of all of these. Yeah. And honestly, this lenticular thing here, it's not that effective. I wish they had just, gone without it, to be honest. So yeah, I'm glad to have the show, but this DVD set just, ugh. Not a fan of it. Now, this was another cartoon that I watched some of when I was younger, but it's meant for a little more mature audience. And like with Magic School Bus, I happened to see this on Amazon as listed, as a complete series then, and I was like, I should probably pick that up at some point. Curiosity finally got to me, so I picked up Danny Phantom. But I should point out something. The episodes that are on the discs for the first 2 seasons are somewhat out of the order that you should watch it. I'll make a video explaining what you need to do, and I actually made a few flashcards in here that tell you the correct order to view them in, right? But yeah, this was a good show. I actually was really surprised at how much humor and continuity that there was in here, so it's not just a show that's good for 10-year-olds. Tons of teenagers can enjoy this show as well. Yeah. We're impressed with that. Now, this next DVD was kind of like an add-on item when I was buying multiple things, but it's a documentary that I reviewed on here after I saw it pretty much the first chance that I could, and even though it doesn't really mean that much to me because I'm straight, it's a powerful battle that took place in the history of, trying to treat human beings as, human beings. I picked up The Case Against 8, which details Ted Olson, David Boies, and several other people's battle to overturn Proposition 8, which banned gay people from marrying in California, which is where I live. That's all I really need to say on the subject, because I've already talked about it. Now, this next one, I bet a lot of you are going to be like, why the heck did you get this? That actually isn't a good movie, so I'm just going to show it to you. Super Size Me. And yes, I am aware that there are quite a lot of issues with this movie, even if you take out Spurlock's sex issues, not just with his recent accusations, but also his first wife. Yeah, but I do think that there are still some good things in here, such as, pointing out that advertising draws kids to eat, unhealthy foods, the fact that many schools don't have good exercise programs or good lunches that students can buy, even though there are plenty that do. And then there's a couple of other things, but those are the big ones that I could think of right now. And after I did my rewatch of this, I decided to check out the documentary that was produced in response to this, which is called Fathead, and yeah, that opened my eyes to a few more things that were wrong with this movie, although I can't help but think that Tom's style is a little too condescending in a few of his remarks, and also, there's a little bit of a red flag that I need to give to both this and Fathead, because over and over they say that the main reason they ended up changing their weight compositions was because of their diets. Well, they didn't just change their diets in here, they drastically changed their exercise routine, because Tom, he ended up exercising twice as much as he normally did, even though all he does is walk several miles each night. And Spurlock didn't exercise at all, so it's not just a diet that changed your weight thing, it's your exercise. You gotta pay some acknowledgement to that, but they don't, other than like the beginning and a little bit at the end. Just wanted to point that out. And if you wonder what this cost, it was $4, which was half the reason I picked it up. And also, like the 6.5-year special edition, it only has 2 new features, and everyone seems to indicate that they aren't really that useful. Now, this next one that I'm going to show you is a TV show that I've heard a lot of good things about, but people aren't really specific as to what is good about it, because this is a slightly older show, but it has a production team that a lot of people trust, and an actress in the lead role that a lot of people enjoy, so I saw that this was cheap, and I decided, okay, you know what, why don't I give it a trial run at some point. I got the first season of Alias. not much more that I can say about it, to be honest, so I'm hoping that when I start watching this, I'll enjoy it, but I've got a lot of other stuff that I'm trying to watch right now, so it'll be a while, but whatever. Now these... Okay, I think you got a little bit of a spoiler there. These next two round out a collection that I mentioned that I was building in my last DVD and Blu-ray video. These are both DVDs, but I'm actually going to be placing them next to the Blu-ray sets because all the other TV shows in this franchise are out on Blu-ray, and these are the only ones that aren't. And since all those sets are pretty much DVD height, as high as these, it just makes more sense to include it with them, to be honest. I got the remaining shows in the Star Trek franchise, Deep Space Nine and Voyager. So yeah, I now officially own every Star Trek item from 1966 to 2013. The only things I don't have are Star Trek Beyond and Discovery, but Discovery only just came out on Blu-ray, and since I'm watching all of these pretty much in the order that they came out, I'm not going to be getting to there for a long time, and Beyond, they pulled it Into Darkness, where each retailer's release has different extras packaged, but unlike Into Darkness, it doesn't seem like they're going to be releasing any big package that has all but a couple of the extras in it, but it doesn't really matter because I saw Beyond in the theater, so yeah, I don't have to worry about that until I get to it when I'm doing my marathon. And the last thing on a DVD to show you, I mentioned a few updates back that I had the first season of this show and that I was doing a trial run for it to see if I liked it. Well, I did my trial run for it and it inspired me to pick up the rest of this show. So I found someone who was selling the complete series on eBay and I got it for $45. So if you take just the remaining 6 seasons, I got them for $7.50 a piece, or if you want to count the duplicate of season 1, about $6.43. But I now have all 7 seasons of... Whoa, spooky. The West Wing! I bet a few of you thought this was Game of Thrones for a second. Right. And I want to make one thing clear about that show, though. I do think it's a nice show, as I'm currently on the 3rd season of it, but I'm not going to be talking about this show in any video other than this one, because I made a promise back in like 2014 that gay rights would be the only political issue I'd ever talk about on this channel unless it somehow manages to work its way into my other reviews somehow. If I was to talk about that show, I'd end up breaking that promise, so... If you're worried about that, rest assured, I'm not going to talk about it, and if you're a big fan of that show, well, sorry to disappoint you, but I've already made that promise, yeah. Okay, time to break it off for part 2. See you there.